Wins News Time 10:11. Let's get you where you need to go with Kelly Dillon.
We've got the Bronx River Parkway that is currently shut down. Bad flooding continues both ways between the Cross-Country Parkway in Mount Vernon and 287 in West Plains tonight. The Sawmill River Parkway also shut down both ways for flooding from the New York State Thruway through Old Sawmill River Road in Tarrytown. Now in Brooklyn, the eastbound belt at a complete standstill now into Cropsey Avenue. We have all lanes now shut down with a bad crash. Both ways right now, traffic is at a complete standstill here on the belt. Here's what you need to know about the bridges and tunnels. We got some major issues at the Brooklyn Battery Tunnel right now. Heading into Brooklyn, there is a crash now reportedly closing all lanes reportedly, and traffic at a dead stop into Brooklyn. Also into Manhattan, it is backing up now as well. So avoid that Brooklyn Battery Tunnel. The outbound Brooklyn Bridge seeing a lot of extra traffic as a result right now. So the Manhattan or the Williamsburg bridges, they're better. Not too bad at the Lincoln or the Holland tunnels. Across the George, looks like some construction is setting up inbound now on the upper deck, getting a bit slow, but outbound it is moving fine. Kathy Dillon, 1010 wins at 92.3 FM.
Now the AccuWeather 4-day forecast from meteorologist Brian Thompson.
It's going to stay humid through much of tonight with clouds and a couple of showers, maybe a heavy gusty thunderstorm early. We'll still have the threat for a leftover shower late, a low 72. Clouds will give way to some sunshine for tomorrow. It's going to be breezy, warm, and humid. There could be a shower or gusty thunderstorm, especially during the afternoon, a high of 83. Partly cloudy tomorrow night, and we'll turn more comfortable with a low of 63. And we are in for some really nice weather late in the week. Sunshine and low humidity both Thursday and Friday. High 81 on Thursday, 82 on Friday, and that nice weather continues into the weekend with a fair amount of sunshine. High close to 80 on Saturday, and we'll get into the mid-80s for highs on Sunday. I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Brian Thompson on New York's weather station. 1010 wins on 92.3 FM.
73 degrees, partly cloudy. We're going down to 72 in Midtown. The story of Flacco. The owl is getting the red carpet treatment in a green place he called home. The premiere of Wild Inside about the Eurasian eagle owl and his year of freedom. And all of us who watched him will premiere on Central Park's Great Hill near the trees where he used to perch. You can see the documentary for free Wednesday, July 29th, beginning at 7:30. The entrance is at West 106th Street. Central Park Conservancy says an RSVP is encouraged, but not required. The movie itself will run at the IFC beginning July 31st. Reckless and appalling. That's how New Jersey Governor Mikey Sherrill described her administration's discovery of software that allowed 400 non-U.S. citizens to vote. The error was made and found during the Phil Murphy years, but has only just now been made public. Sherrill says 6,600 people were improperly registered by the Motor Vehicle Commission as they applied for ID cards and licenses beginning in 2023. They weren't looking to vote.
In the case of this error, some individuals indicated that they weren't citizens and weren't eligible to vote, but the software registered them anyway. The error in the software was corrected a year later in June of 2024.
Software registers them. Next thing you know, they're getting things in the mail saying, hey, go vote. And some of them did. She said an investigation is now underway into how this happened, and the software vendor involved is being phased out. All 6,600 will be removed from the voter rolls. Again, only about 400 who did vote are not believed to actually have swung any elections one way or the other. Today, the director of the Smithsonian Museum of National History is pushing back on the Trump White House report that claims their leadership cannot be trusted.
The report described Anthea Hartig and other Smithsonian leaders as radical activists.
We unwaveringly attest that it does not fairly or accurately characterize the full body of work at the museum.
Hartig's testimony before a House committee comes after a report released on the 4th of July said the American History Museum doesn't tell history in a way that is inspiring and unifying. Tennessee Republican Tim Burchett agrees.
In the museum's current telling, history is just an ongoing power struggle between oppressors and the oppressed. Only the oppressed are celebrated, especially illegal immigrants.
The report is part of President Trump's efforts to reshape the stories of America told by cultural institutions controlled or influenced by the federal government. Hartig said the Smithsonian does not take sides in America's political debates. Ed Donahue, Washington.
Hey Yankees fans, come out to Yankee Stadium on Thursday, August 27th, when the Yankees host the Astros for a very special night in the Bronx, Seinfeld Night. The first 18,000 guests will receive a George Costanza calzone bobblehead, presented by Star. Tickets are on sale now at Yankees.com/tickets. Don't miss Seinfeld Night and the George Costanza calzone bobblehead, Thursday, August 27th. Yankees versus Astros at Yankee Stadium.
All news, all the time. This is 1010 Wins on 92.3 FM. You give us 22 minutes, we'll give you the world.
73 degrees, cloudy at 10:20. I'm Lane Bajardi. Here's what's happening. All the severe weather watches for tonight canceled. An AccuWeather update ahead. There are reports of 2 tornado touchdowns in North Jersey today. Sentencing for a man who admitted to brutally beating a bodega worker in Woodside. City Council Speaker not happy with the response to the Upper East Side Legionnaires outbreak. A 5th victim has died. Staten Islanders are beefing over the rash of potholes across the borough. Mets still playing in Milwaukee. The Yankee game was called off. They'll play 2 tomorrow. Wins News Time 10:21. Let's get you where you need to go with Kelly Dillon.
We've got the Bronx River Parkway shut down and detoured both ways for flooding between the Cross County Parkway in Mount Vernon and 287 in White Plains still. The Sawmill River Parkway also is closed between the New York State Thruway and Old Sawmill River Road in Tarrytown. In Brooklyn, a bad crash on the eastbound belts right past Cropsey Avenue. All lanes subject to closure here. It is at a standstill, so do avoid that spot. Also, a new crash in the Bronx on the westbound Bruckner at Hunts Point Avenue. The 2 right lanes are down, picking up. Here's what we see on Long Island's Big 3. The LIE still looking all right through Nassau County. Not too much happening on the northern or southern state parkways. Here's what you need to know about the bridges and tunnels. Brooklyn Battery Tunnel, a big backup both ways. Into Brooklyn, there's a crash. Looks like the Brooklyn Battery Tunnel is subject to closure both ways. So do avoid that extra volume across the outbound Brooklyn Bridge. Better on the Manhattan or Williamsburg bridges. Kelly Dillon, 1010 Wins at 92.3 FM.
Good news. After a rough day, the severe weather watch is no longer in effect tonight. Let's get more from AccuWeather's Brian Thompson.
Well, there was some severe weather that rolled through parts of the tri-state earlier today. We did have some damaging wind gusts in some areas, and there were widespread areas of flash flooding. There were some places that picked up more than 4 inches of rain in parts of the lower Hudson Valley and southwest Connecticut, with some of those more persistent showers and storms. Now, we'll still have a couple of showers around through the early part of tonight, perhaps a heavy gusty thunderstorm, but by later tonight, we should just have a leftover shower around, so we should get a chance to dry out a bit overnight and into tomorrow morning.
There are 2 tornado reports, both from the same storm that moved across North Jersey earlier in the afternoon. At 2:10, a train spotter witnessed what they believe was a tornado touching down I-80 and Route 206, a mile west of Stanhope, with trees and debris on the road.
Municipalities are going to have some cleanup, and obviously there's some trees down, wires down.
Morris County OEM Director Jeff Paul, who said it could have been worse.
But we did not have significant damage on the ground. We didn't have any residential structures reported to be compromised.
Another touchdown reported at about 2:45 just west of Troy Hills. Video sent in on the grounds, sent from a driving range in Parsippany. National Weather Service will check all this out. Between the storms and the wildfire haze, this July has been difficult for many.
It never stops.
Not only is Paul tired of the rain, but the wind here by the water in Lindenhurst.
Every year I say, this is the worst I've ever seen the wind. And the next year it's the worst I've ever seen the wind.
Another man calls his street Gilligan's Island because of the constant flooding.
With the rain, we'll have a green lawn.
Oh, so you're doing the positive. I love it.
Yeah, well, you can be negative, but it does no good.
Paul says his boat should be on the water today, not on land.
It just makes going out on the water very unpredictable.
And not relaxing, obviously. Sophia Hall, 1010 Wins, a 92.3 FM on Long Island.
Forest Hills man is off to prison for the attempted murder of a bodega worker during a terrible beatdown a few years ago in Woodside. 31-year-old Osvel Diaz admitted to the vicious and relentless attack on an older man inside the Sunnyside Mini Market on Broadway. Diaz gets 19 years in prison, 5 years of post-release supervision. A pro-Palestinian Columbia University activist targeted by the Trump administration loses a round in court. An appeals panel reversed the lower court order to release Mohsen Madawi.
Madawi is a student protest organizer who the Trump administration spent more than a year trying to deport. He's been appealing a removal order in immigration court. In their unanimous decision Tuesday, the panel found the federal judge overstepped by intervening before the case moved through immigration courts. The ruling mirrors a separate appellate panel's decision earlier this year against Mahmoud Khalil, a former classmate of Madawi's at Columbia University. Julie Walker, New York.
73 degrees and cloudy. We're going down to 72 in Midtown. Now Bloomberg Money Line.
Next week, Apple is launching the Apple Upgrade Service, a subscription plan where users can lease a new iPhone, Mac computer, iPad, or Apple Watch. You can upgrade early to a new model, keep the one you're using at the end for a fee, or just return it when that lease ends. Oil closing higher today at around $85 a barrel, just as AAA says the average price of a gallon of regular gas nationwide hit $4.02 today. At Wall Street's closing bell, the Dow is up 385 points. The Nasdaq up 329. That's a 1.25% gain thanks to big gains in shares of Micron, AMD, Intel, and other chip makers. The S&P today adding 66. I'm Tom Busby. Bloomberg Money Watch on 1010 Wins at 92.3 FM.
Good evening. I'm Mario Bosquez. As Legionnaires continues a deadly grim presence in the city for the fifth day in a row, the health department confirms another fatality on the city's Upper East Side. Council says it's forging ahead when it comes to detection and communication.
Disinfect before you test. That's the call from Council Speaker Julie Menon.
With every hour the towers were not disinfected, with every day that they were not prophylactically disinfected, more New Yorkers became sick and 4 tragically died.
After the Harlem outbreak last year, new regulations required building owners to test for Legionella every month.
But we know that over 25% of them were not in compliance. We are still waiting to see if the health department issued any fines.
Menon also says a third of water ecologist positions at the health department, the people who respond to positive tests, are vacant. Mac Rosenberg, 1010 Wins on 92.3 FM.
Council has set an oversight hearing for September. A statement from the Department of Health reads in part, "For now, our minds are focused on identifying a source and holding accountable anyone found out of compliance with local laws." Wins News Time 10:31. Let's get you where you need to go with Kelly Dillon.
The Bronx River Parkway, that is currently shut down. Both directions, still bad flooding tonight between the Cross County Parkway in Mount Vernon and 287 in White Plains. And then also we have the Sawmill River Parkway closed and detoured still for bad flooding tonight between New York State Freeway and Old Sawmill River Road in Terrelltown. 684 northbound as well. Some issues past Route 22, exit 6, a large sinkhole. The left and center lanes out for the cleanup there. In the Bronx, the westbound Cross Bronx, bumper to bumper into 3rd Avenue. Construction work is setting up, closing a lane. Here's what you need to know about the bridges and tunnels. Inbound George Washington Bridge, upper level. Couple lanes getting closed now for construction and a half-hour wait. Heading outbound, not too bad. The Lincoln and the Holland, they are looking all right. Outer Bridge crossing into Jersey at a standstill with right lane construction. The Goethals is going to be the better option. Brooklyn Battery Tunnel, we've got a big backup. There was a crash into Brooklyn that is clearing up. Construction setting up, one tube down, the other taking two-way traffic. So the outbound Brooklyn Bridge also bumper to bumper with a lot of extra volume. The Manhattan or Williamsburg bridges, they are better. Kelly Dillon, 1010 Wins at 92.3 FM.
Let's get a check of the AccuWeather forecast with meteorologist Ryan Thompson.
It's going to stay pretty humid through tonight with clouds, and we'll see a couple of showers scattered around early, maybe a heavy gusty thunderstorm in spots. By late tonight, shouldn't be much more than a leftover shower, a low of 72. Clouds will break for some sun tomorrow. It's going to be breezy, warm, and humid with a shower or gusty thunderstorm, especially during the afternoon. But overall, a mainly dry day tomorrow, high of 83. It will turn more comfortable tomorrow night as the humidity drops. It'll be partly cloudy with a low of 63. And we're going to enjoy some very nice weather Thursday and Friday as the humidity continues to drop. Lots of sunshine, high temperatures into the low 80s, and it looks like that nice weather will continue into the upcoming weekend. I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Brian Thompson on New York's weather station, 1010 Wins on 92.3 FM.
In a place where having your own transportation is almost a must, drivers have to contend with more than just bumps in the road. Now officials say fill them up.
Staten Island drivers are all too used to potholes on the road. And Staten Island Borough President Vito Fazella says enough is enough.
It's becoming a growing problem. It's a challenge.
He's allocating $250,000 taken out of his budget to go towards DOT for the paving to start almost immediately.
We're going to take away any excuse that the money's not there by giving them the money. These people deserve to have adequate roads. If they're not a priority at the city level, we're going to make it a priority at our level.
He tells us this opens up a bigger conversation on where the priorities in Staten Island need to be, because mainly drivers make up the borough and far less bikers and public transit options compared to the other boroughs. Mary Lynn Buckley, 1010 Wins on 92.3 FM in Grasmere.
Now you can say ring it up on my Samsung.
The Galaxy Card is Samsung's first foray into the credit card business and is being touted as a way to earn up to 5% cash back on new Samsung tech products. There's also rewards for certain streaming services. The Black Metal card is part of the Visa network and is being issued by Barclays Bank. There's also a virtual version which can be loaded into your digital wallet. Apple announced a similar credit card back in 2019. Earlier this year, that company announced Chase will become the issuer of that card. Mike Dubusky, ABC News.
A Brooklyn street getting a brand new name. Councilmember Chiosei and ODB's estate say one street will now be known as ODB Jones Way for the Brooklyn-born hip-hop icon and founding member of Wu-Tang Clan on Claver Street between Jefferson and Putnam Avenue. That's this coming Saturday at noon.
The News Watch never stops. This is 1010 Wins on 92.3 FM. You give us 22 minutes, we'll give you the world.
Good evening, 73 degrees at 1040. I'm Mario Bosquez, and here's what's happening. From the recent heat dome to turbulent water world, where do we stand now? AccuWeather updates you. The MTA says it's working hard to keep the water out of the system. Team coverage on 1010 Wins. 3 teens injured after gunfire breaks out outside of Brooklyn McDonald's. Diplomatic efforts clouded by the 10th straight day of fighting between the U.S. and Iran as Pete Hegseth faces a barrage of questions on Capitol Hill. Feeling lucky, the jackpot for tonight's Mega Millions could change things. AccuWeather standing by to update you. Tonight's Yankees-Pirates game rescheduled due to the weather. A doubleheader set for tomorrow. Wednesday time 10:41 is get you where you need to go. Here's Kelly Doe.
The Bronx River Parkway, that is shut down for flooding starting tonight. Both ways between the Cross County Parkway in Mount Vernon and 287 in White Plains. The Sawmill River Parkway also closed in detour from the New York State Thruway through Old Sawmill River Road in Tarrytown for flooding here as well tonight. We are very busy in the Bronx on the westbound Cross Bronx into 3rd Avenue, where we do have construction work taking out at least a lane right now. Luckily in Midtown, moving all right on the West Side Highway and FDR. Here's what you need to know about the bridges and tunnels. The inbound George upper deck, a couple lanes out with construction. It's already a half-hour wait. Lower level will be better. Into Jersey, construction also setting up on the lower deck. So upper and lower decks about 20. The Lincoln and the Holland moving fine. We are busy on the Outer Bridge crossing into Jersey with right lane construction. So you want to stick with the Goethals, which is nice and quiet. Kelly Dillon, 1010 Wins at 92.3 FM.
1010 Wins team coverage tonight. Aftermath of that rough weather, which caused problems on many fronts we're still dealing with. First, right to the latest AccuWeather forecast from meteorologist Brian Thompson.
After we had tornado warnings in parts of New Jersey earlier in the afternoon, along with flash flooding in some places, there were parts of the lower Hudson Valley and southwest Connecticut that picked up over 4 inches of rain in a relatively short period of time this afternoon.